y'all. I knew you would be back. The greatest fantasy analyst to ever live is coming back at you with another episode. Today, we are going to do the waiver wire and buy low, extra buy lows episode. Now, the waiver wire is the state of the waiver wire for any regular season is shit. It is complete shit. But with the fantasy god, you can navigate. You can become a legend. You can become the one amongst your friends to win your leagues. Like, subscribe, share. Don't share with a friend because they might take this shit and win your league. You might be salty. So, like I said, I'm Lake, the fantasy god, and I'm here to tell you where, why, how, and what to do this year. This is rare information, so just understand.
I had to sell my soul to get it to you.
Our super subscriber, I wanted to shout out Roger Ribbit. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Like I said, if y'all keep subscribing after the first 30 subscribers, I will be doing a raffle where you will be able to. So, first waiver wire pickup is going to be Oronde Gadsen of the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I'm usually not into fantasy trends. If you are on fantasy Twitter, this is a huge fantasy trend right now. But Oronde Gadsen, I do believe in the talent. He was one of the top. He was the top, led the ACC in receptions for tight ends his senior year. This is somebody who, even though there's a lot of mouths to feed in for the Chargers, what that means is, well, eventually all of them ain't gonna stay healthy. But what that means is you got Quinn Johnson to cover deep, who's going off. You got Keenan Allen, who you got to worry about, across the middle. And then you also have Lad McConkey, who is a slot receiver. So what that leaves is Oronde Gadsen to pick up. He's going to be open a lot because he's not what they automatically have to worry about. You have 3 established receivers at this point, and that leaves him open. So make sure you pick up Oronde Gadsen. It may not be immediate, but he is going to be a tight end. If you having tight end issues, he is going to be a tight end that you're going to want. And you might as well call this the tight end episode because everybody is struggling with tight end, and I'm here to help. Number 2, I continue to say this. I continue to hammer this all the time. Rachaad White should not be on waivers. He is the best handcuff in the league. Bucky Irvin is 5'9". He might be 200 pounds. Bucky Irvin is a small running back, and Bucky Irvin, eventually he's going to get hurt. I hate to break it to you, but Bucky Irvin is eventually going to get hurt. Baker Mayfield is hurt right now, and they're going to rely more on the running game. Mike Evans is out, and it's going to be Abuka, the running game, and there are targets to go around. Do not let Rachaad White stay on your waiver wire. If you good at running back, fine. But if you need to stash somebody on the waiver wire, this waiver wire, I mind you, is disgusting. So most of these are not going to be an immediate help. It might take a week or 2 or 3, but we win fantasy with longevity. We don't win fantasy with short term. So pick up Rachaad White. 3, Luther Burden. Luther Burden had his breakout game last week, which nobody saw coming because the Bears suck. Now this is not. I don't believe that the Bears are have any league winning players, But to help you win some games, let me tell you like this. DJ Moore is going to be traded. He is one of the most underutilized number one receivers. At this point, Rome Odunze is technically their number one receiver by stats, but by pay grade, it's DJ Moore. And they're not going to keep paying DJ Moore like a number one wide receiver and not using him as a number one wide receiver. There's going to be somebody like the Jets. There's going to be somebody who needs wide receiver help, like maybe the Panthers, who don't have anybody but Ted McMillan behind him. We got teams need wide receiver help. So look for a DJ Moore trade. He's also been very quiet. He's quietly been getting like, points here and there and helping the team here and there. But DJ Moore is a trade target, or is gonna be a trade candidate. I'm sorry. So buy or get Luther Burden off the waiver wire. 4. We got Cade Otton. Now I know you probably like, fantasy guy. This guy is not relevant. This guy is not anything. But look, last season, just last year. Now remember, it's the people that people forget about that help you win your leagues. Yo, stupid league mates who don't know ball are gonna sleep on Cade Otton. This is why you should take Cade Otton right now. Cade Otton, 4-5 games last year when they missed out on Chris Godwin when there was injuries. Cade Otton stepped up. Cade Otton steps up when the Buccaneers have injuries all the time. He's been doing it since Tom Brady was in office. Baker Mayfield is in office, and Cade Otton has seen his brightest days with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is hurt, so he needs short targets. He doesn't have any wide receivers, and Rashad White is the only other pass catcher. I mean, you got Sterling Shepard, but Sterling Shepard is towards the end of his career. Cade Otton is going to have to step up. Now, if you have a tight end problem, just stash Cade Otton, see where it goes. If not, let him go. I'm not like gonna say this is a league winner. Like I said, the waiver wire is muddy. This is where we at right now in 2025. Okay. 5. After this, I would say after this week, because they are going against the Kansas City Chiefs, who famously nerfed tight end. Spags is a good tight end. He can sit on the tight end. But don't let Isaiah Likely. You might have to grab him now, because once it started, people like the news comes out that he's going to start ramping up. Grab Isaiah Likely. Mark Andrews is good, but he's just not getting it done for the Ravens as far as what they need as like a threat, as far as somebody who can be versatile. Lamar Jackson loves Isaiah Likely. If you're having a struggle at tight end, you got Gadsen, you got Otton, and you got Isaiah Likely on the waiver wire right now. So grab Isaiah Likely, stash him. He's going to be very valuable down the stretch. Now, this is my my I want to say my per episode ever since the Easter egg. Grab DJ Giddens. I don't care if you're a Jonathan Taylor owner. I don't care if you're not a Jonathan Taylor owner. We need running backs with good offensive lines. I drafted a fair amount of Chase Brown, which is my hugest bust pick. And as good as Chase Brown was last year, people are calling him ass because of his offensive line. Ashton Jeanty. Now, I agree, Ashton Jeanty should have been the next Barry Sanders, quote unquote, but he's not because of his offensive line. You know who does have a good offensive line? DJ Giddens. You know who does get hurt every year? Jonathan Taylor. Grab DJ Giddens. And also, grab Tua. Grab Tua Tagovailoa off your waiver wire. Tua Tagovailoa is on every waiver wire, even in my super flex leagues. He on waiver wire, which is extremely bad. Tua Tagovailoa still has his wide receivers. He still has both Tyreek Hill, Jaden Waddle, and he got Malik Washington, who's also explosive. And he still has Devon Achane. I know it don't look right, but Tua, if you had Tua down the stretch last year, he won you fantasy playoff games with the same offensive line, with actually less of the weapons because Jalen Waddle was hurt, Tyreek was hurt. Tua was winning you playoff games, and Tua was getting Jonnu Smith 20 and 30-point fantasy games. Grab Tua Tagovailoa off the waiver wire if you are needing a quarterback. Now, stash. These are most of these. Everybody that I'm talking about is a stash. Besides, I believe Gadsen can contribute immediate value. I believe Rashad White can, in some form, contribute immediate value, but everybody else is a stash, wait and see. Now, a few buy lows here because we did just do the buy low episode. So just to kind of help you gauge, what you need to know. A few buy lows. I'm going to let you know. Buy Chuba Hubbard right now. He just came off one of his bad games, and I get that people might say that, oh, he had his production saved at the end of games in garbage time. Those are still fantasy points. People aren't looking at Chuba Hubbard right now but Chuba Hubbard always ends up in the top 10 running backs every year. You hear me? So that's a buy low that you should be picking up. Two, I cannot stress this enough. Buy Breece Hall before he gets traded. Now, in the fantasy community on Facebook, they clown me. They hate on me. You know what I'm saying? Which I understand. Look, if you ain't getting hated on by nobody, you not doing shit. Buy Breece Hall before he gets traded to the Kansas City Chiefs or the Dallas Cowboys or whoever need a running back. Just know, buy Breece Hall. I would trade. You might could pull off. I seen a trade. Quentin Johnson for Breece Hall. You can trade. Hell, I would trade Chuba Hubbard for Breece Hall. I would trade. I would trade. I'll just find a way to get somebody who may have potential. Travion Henderson. Travion Henderson is looking to start. I would trade Travion Henderson for Breece Hall right now. If you could do it, trade Travion Henderson for Breece Hall. Because Breece Hall, when he gets traded, he's going to be the main back wherever he goes. Okay. Three. Now, this is not necessarily a player. This is going to be this is not necessarily a player. This is me telling you that the fantasy rapture is here. This is where if you are no matter what, I don't care what your record is, this is where you save, or this is where you win your leagues. This is where you build the best team, is after this week. Because after this week, playoff odds plummet. Do you hear me? After this week, playoff odds plummet. Either your team go from 1-2 to 1-3, 0-3 to 0-4. Those teams become desperate. Those teams become desperate. Do you understand? So, with desperation comes what? Garage sales. With bankruptcy comes what? Desperation. So, what I mean by that is those desperate teams This is where you reach from the gates of hell with your fantasy clause and snatch whatever player that they might sell. Now, that's the best player on their team, the second best player, or the third best player. Or any rookies that have upside, anybody that you believe in that has upside, that is on a desperate 1 and 2 team, a desperate a desperate 1 and 3 team, a desperate 0 and 4 team. This is where you reach and grab their players and you send a bunch of mid players from your bench to give them depth. To give them depth. And you take a CeeDee Lamb, you take a Rashee Rice. They can't wait. If they lose another game, they're out of the playoffs. They need immediate action. So you send immediate action for their upside and you win your league just like that. Remember, I was the person who had Josh Allen, Jamar Chase, and CeeDee Lamb on one team because I made this maneuver. Now tell me if that's not a team that you would have won it last year. I know, because I'm the fantasy guy. I always got what you want. 4. Brian Thomas Jr., buy him low. People are scared in the streets, in the fantasy streets. Buy Brian Thomas Jr. low right now. Buy BTJ low right now before he goes off against the 49ers. I know it's a lot of people that's saying he playing scared, this and that. The thing about football, and if you know ball, if somebody is a baller and you see it, it don't just go away, bro. Especially at wide receiver. This is not a position where you have to rely on offensive line. The Jaguars don't have a bad enough offensive line where it's just like it's gonna putrefy the whole offense. It's Trevor Lawrence. But Trevor Lawrence usually like he had a coach. He got to get used to a new system every year. People don't realize that. Trevor Lawrence has to get used to a new system every year. He get a new fucking coach every year. Urban Meyer, Doug Peterson, new offensive coordinator, fire, 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 fire. So he has to get used to a new offense every year. The offense is slow because Trevor Lawrence is not only ass, but he's ass and he has to learn a new offensive every year. You would be ass if you had to learn a new offense every year. It would start slow. Things don't happen. We're in this instant gratification era, and you have to let people lose because of instant gratification. You win because you are not instant gratification because you listen to the fantasy guy. So Bobby Brian Thomas Jr. Last buy low is gonna be T. Higgins. Now, everybody knows that the fantasy guy is not a proponent of T. Higgins. And I know that. And I don't like separators, non-separators on my team. But if you are struggling at wide receiver, T. Higgins is in the biggest pile of shit that you could be in. Um, and that's why he's so cheap. That's why he's a buy low. T. Higgins, I appreciate him as a talent, as a real football player, but he's gonna be a boom bust profile when it comes to fantasy football. Now, what I do have to say is, do you think that the Cincinnati Bengals, just like you, aren't looking for other quarterback options after what they just saw against the Minnesota Vikings? 48-6. Do you think that the Cincinnati Bengals are like, oh, let's just watch Jake Browning all year? No, they are not. Russell Wilson out on the market. He just got benched by the Giants. Jameis Winston on the bench by the New York Giants. Kirk Cousins. Now, I don't think Kirk Cousins is a real possibility. That's more a lower possibility. Kirk Cousins, they will have to take on a lot of his contract, which they can't afford. So maybe not Kirk. Cooper Rush. Quarterbacks are available in this league. Decent quarterbacks. Jake Browning sucks ass, and it is a disservice. And not to mention Zach Efron, the coach, or whatever the fuck his name is on the hot seat. The Bengals coach is on the hot seat. So buy T. Higgins low because they're not gonna sit and watch Jake Browning all year. They're not. So yeah. So there's a quick waiver wire and buy low episode for the extras. And also a little side note. Like I said, if y'all keep subscribing after the first 30 subscribers, I will be doing a raffle where you will be eligible to win a ghetto care pack. That includes a bag of Doritos, some ramen noodles, and a Kool-Aid pouch. Y'all keep turning me up, it's gonna get better. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, now take that information and turn your team up.